आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, why Air India and the Tatas cannot escape this despite technical snags coming to the fore. Air India must answer on why a compromise on passenger safety has become routine for the airline. And at 9 p.m. tonight, is this going to be World War III? Nuclear threats are being openly made. It's not about West Asia. It's about all of us. The least we want is accountability and answerability. That's the least we, the air passengers, want. We, the air passengers, demand. And we are asking this question and we are making these demands with greater anger in our voice because we are not getting an answer. The fact of the matter is, as we all know, a templated reply, ladies and gentlemen, completely templated reply has been given out by the airlines. The problem is, there is a problem that the airlines have. And I have a feeling that the passengers have not been given clear answers. The passengers on their part and the media have become very active and almost activist, and rightly so, because we are worried. Every time we take an airline, every time any loved one takes an airline, we are worried about what's going to happen to the airline, and no, we are not being paranoid. Ladies and gentlemen, if Air India thinks we are being paranoid, they are wrong. An Air India Boeing Dreamliner, which was supposed to fly from Delhi to Bengaluru at 8:30 a.m., this is a report of 16th, was vacated. Passengers were asked to board another aircraft at 10:30 a.m. on Delhi's IGI Terminal 3. The flight was rescheduled to 1:30 p.m. allegedly, with the passengers stuck on the Delhi IGI airport. What we want to know is what was going on. This is not like watching Doordarshan in the old days and saying there is a takniki kharabi. This is about the lives of the passengers. You can't be carted from one plane to the other, ladies and gentlemen, so easily. And just be told, we will give you refreshments. We will put you in a hotel if necessary, but don't ask more questions about what happened. We will ask questions because we are paying passengers. A Saudi Airlines flight carrying 250 Hajj pilgrims encountered a technical snag. The visuals are very scary. I'd like to run the visuals, viewers. These are the pictures of the Saudi Airline 250 Hajj pilgrims take off from Jeddah, landing in Lucknow around 6:30 a.m. Huge landing gear issue. Smoke and sparks observed from the left wheel. It's all captured on camera shortly after landing. This is getting very serious. We have a civil aviation crisis in this country. In fact, it shouldn't just be called an Air India crisis. We should call it a civil aviation crisis. It's an aviation crisis that we are facing. Hashtag aviation crisis. Viewers, now Air India can't be touchy about being criticized. What is going on, Air India? Another Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner Air India 315 takes off from Hong Kong to New Delhi, has to make a return journey. Why? Because of a technical glitch mid-air. Now, when we ask what was the technical glitch, we are told it is, as per our initial information, a problem with the engine to fuel filter bypass ICAS message, EICAS message. EICAS means it's a maintenance problem, not a pilot error. EICAS monitors engines, hydraulics, electricals, flight controls, and fuel systems, which means that this can be a potentially catastrophic problem. Just because eventually the plane landed back safely after making a return trip does not mean that there was no imminent danger. There was a danger, and it is in response to that danger that the plane came back. We are also told, why are you making a big deal of smaller problems that people are facing? I would like to run some videos. Arzu Sethi from Jaipur says there's no air conditioning inside the Air India Express flight for 5 hours in Dubai. That's her video. Akash, another Air India passenger, travels from Delhi to Ahmedabad. Let me show his video. He had flown in the now crashed Boeing 787. He puts out a video about experiencing faults in the plane. There's another video, Amsterdam to Delhi, water is dripping, ladies and gentlemen, from various spots inside the plane. Now we're told, why are you complaining? That plane didn't crash, why are you complaining? Should passengers complain only in a near crash situation? What is the answerability of these airlines? Why have they been given a long rope? And the only option you have tonight as passengers is to start raising your voice as loud as possible. These airlines can do nothing. They can't take you on. They can't blackmail you. They can't pressurize you. You have the hand. You have the upper hand. All passengers need to do is unite against these arrogant airlines. We need to make them answer. We need to make them answerable. What are passengers really paying for? I have 4 questions. Comfort and safety, or a gamble with their lives? What are passengers really paying for? Are they paying for faulty machines that return mid-air, no AC, or planes that crash into residential neighborhoods? Why do technical glitches happen so often across fleets, from serious ones, fuel filter failures, to landing gear sparks? How long will we be told these are just close calls before we admit there is a systemic crisis in the aviation industry? And what does it reveal about our regulatory architecture? How long do passengers have to crowdsource video evidence of the failure of the airlines? And finally, is this a maintenance crisis, or is there a deeper structural compromise in fleet integrity? Because airlines only want to make more and more profit margins. Now, the airlines must know the passengers are very aware, very united, and very well researched. It's the airlines which have no option now. They want to be in the aviation business. They better listen. Let's debate.
4 days after the Ahmedabad plane crash, more than 100 dead bodies are yet to be identified.
Such was the scale of fire which engulfed AI-171, and now the teams are failing to find 100+ bodies. This is the ground reality after the airplane crashed. While official numbers and casualties which have been released by the Gujarat government is 268, out of which 241 are the passengers, rest of the bodies are yet to be found. There are over 100 bodies which are missing. Are they on the site? Where are these 100 missing bodies is a question, because as civil hospital has received only 132 bodies, what about those 100 bodies which are still missing?
Aviation safety concerns have raised alarms.
I'm really shocked to see the irresponsible behavior of this flight. I am actually shocked. We are pushing the crew button, but none of the crew is coming. Again and again, everyone is pushing. Just look at the situation.
We won't listen to you. We don't listen you. We don't trust you.
We are almost about to taxi, but this AC is not working. Look at everyone. And it's a Dreamliner 787.
We won't listen to you.
Multiple aviation incidents have added to these woes.
Water dripping in Air India flight.
In one day, 2 major incidents involving Air India have been reported. The cause of U-turn was reported as fuel filter bypass alert message by the engine indication and crew alerting system. While the quick decision by the pilots averted any mishap, any deviation from normal parameters can be catastrophic if ignored. Similar technical glitch has caused multiple air tragedies in the past. Another technical problem was reported in Zurich to Delhi flight.
This is very shocking that, if we see Hong Kong aircraft, if we see Zurich aircraft, both the aircraft have gone from Delhi only to those particular places, and during return they are facing major technical issue, and that clearly states that there has not been any maintenance, there has not been any inspection, they are not taking seriously the order of DGCA and Ministry of Civil Aviation, and everyone is appalled with the kind of behavior of Air India. They are not responding, they are not giving any media statement, they are not exactly telling us exactly what is wrong with the Boeing or whether they are in touch with the Boeing or not. Exactly, problem is with the assembling, problem is the maintenance issue, has it to go for servicing. No one is aware what is exactly happening inside Air India and Boeing.
A Saudi Airlines plane with Hajj pilgrims on board had a major scare. Smoke and sparks were spotted near the wheels of the plane.
लखनऊ के चौधरी चरण सिंह एयरपोर्ट पे कल के दिन सऊदी अरेबिया से एक फ़्लाइट आई और उस फ्लाइट को लेकर तमाम तरीके की जानकारी आई है। हम लखनऊ एयरपोर्ट पे मौजूद हैं, तस्वीरें आपको दिखा रहे हैं जहां सऊदी एयरपोर्ट से उड़ी एक फ़्लाइट, सऊदी अरेबिया एयरलाइंस की फ़्लाइट SV3112 लैंड करती है। लैंडिंग के दौरान पहिए से चिंगारी और धुआं निकलता है, जिसके बाद अफरा तफरी की स्थिति में जो ग्राउंड सपोर्ट टीम है वो उस आग को बुझा 20 मिनट की मशक्कत के बाद जो ये पूरी समस्या थी उसको कंट्रोल में लेकर आते हैं। शनिवार की बता दें आपको, रात में 11:30 बजे जेद्दा एयरपोर्ट से हज यात्रियों को लेकर ये जहाज उड़ा था और रविवार की सुबह लखनऊ पहुंचता है। लैंड करते ही पहिए में आग लग जाती है।
Back-to-back incidents have put the focus on aviation safety. An airline passenger pays heavy taxes and hefty price. Traveling via air is not even in everyone's budget. Yet safety and basic facilities of passengers is yet to take off. The passengers are worried and asking only one question: how safe is it to take a flight?
I'm really shocked to see the irresponsible behavior of this flight. I am actually shocked.
Okay, we have with us tonight Sohail Seth, and we have with us, Sohail Seth is of course Managing Partner Counselage, very well-known voice from industry. Dr. Vandana Singh, Chairperson of the Aviation Cargo Federation of the Aviation Industry in India, FAII. Parvez Damania has been former Director, Kingfisher, founder of Damania Airways. J. Anand Dehadra is a Supreme Court advocate. He's pro-Air India on this, I'm told. Sanat Kaul is Chairman of the International Foundation for Aviation, Aerospace and Drones. Rajiv Mehra is General Secretary and former President of the Federation of Association of Indian Tourism and Hospitality. Faith, he's joining us from Australia. We have an issue here, we need to deal with it, we need to come to terms with how to handle this situation. Now, suddenly all over. Rajiv, I want to start with you, Rajiv. All over, we have these innumerable incidents of, things happening to planes. It can't be because the media is reporting it. Maybe the airlines after the Air India crash are becoming extra careful. And maybe that's why it's getting reported. But there are so many incidents of what are called technical glitches, dangerous situations. Why is so much coming out now, you think, Rajiv?
You see, thank you for being here. The point here is that definitely after the Air India crash, these things are coming up. They were not reported earlier, but I think the passengers are more vigilant now while traveling. So that is the reason why these things are being reported to the media by the passengers, and although the airline might not be reporting these kind of things. But my thing is that aviation is still the safest mode of travel. This odd accident has happened. It should not happen. And I think whether it's the chairman of Air India or
No.
the pilot or anyone, no one wants to make, no one wants any life to be lost.
No. The
However,
argument,
at the same time,
but what Rajiv, the argument being made here is not that nobody is saying the airlines
No,
want
I'm
to
coming
kill
to that,
passengers.
Arnab.
The problem is it's a reductionist argument. See, problem is here that what we are seeing, when I heard of this today, and I was appalled actually, Sanat Kaul, I want to come to you before I go to Sohail. This 787 Dreamliner Air India 315, which flew from Hong Kong to New York, we are now told, now what happens usually is we are told there was a technical glitch, the plane came back, everybody's safe, everybody's fine. We don't usually get to know, Mr. Kaul, what exactly happened. After the Air India crash, passengers are becoming more aware, the media is becoming more vigilant, and people started inquiring. Then we were told it happened due to an engine to fuel filter bypass, ICAS message. Then this means, ICAS means it is a serious problem with engines, hydraulics, electricals, flight controls and fuel systems. And some of these issues can be catastrophic if ignored. Now, all of this focus of the media, all of us, is because of the crash, I agree. But it means we're sitting on this time bomb, Mr. Kaul. That means this plane was in some dangerous situation, wasn't it? The Hong Kong to New Delhi plane was in a dangerous situation. It's an Air India plane. It's a 787 Dreamliner, the same type that crashed.
You're right. It is a very serious situation. Safety is getting compromised just now. Now, how it's happening, why it's happening is something which I can't say. The DGCA is the safety regulator and it's his call basically. Now, as regards the Air India, we were very happy when Air India started Vistara with Singapore Airlines. Of course, they had new planes, but it was running very well. When Air India was privatized and Tata Singapore Airline joint venture took over, we were still expecting a lot to happen, but somehow it has not happened. Now, I was trying to look into it and see how and why this has happened. And I feel that Tatas have not given Singapore Airlines the proper, because they are the best people in the industry to run an airline, to manage an airline, to maintain an airline. And I don't know why they are not giving them the amount of weightage that they should give in management of the airline, which they were doing in Vistara. Now, that's my explanation for the whole thing. Otherwise, I think it's time DGCA is revamped totally. Because some professionals, some outsiders, and it doesn't have a full staff, whereas the passenger traffic has gone up so much in India that it has to have more staff, and that's another issue. Coming back to the particular crash, I don't know. I really can't say what happened in this class. Let the committee or the investigation decide. And it could be anything. It could be anything. It could even be a sabotage.
No, but this is so. The thing is, see, I am being very balanced about this. I have a real worry about what's going on now. There's another Air India Boeing Dreamliner. And so I'm not picking on Air India, but there's an Air India Boeing Dreamliner supposed to fly from Delhi to Bangalore, 8:30 a.m. It's vacated. Passengers are told to board another aircraft after 2 hours. Then it's rescheduled to 1:30. We don't know what happened with this plane. I mean, this is all happening overnight. Passengers are being vacated, moved. Flights are turning back. ICAS messages are being reported. I mean, it's not just an industry issue, Sohail. It's a lot of this, 70% of the case are Air India.
Because that's what you guys want to report. A, B, no one is holding a candle for anyone. Now you must allow me to speak without any interruption. You rightly said that a Hong Kong-Delhi flight had to turn back. Why did it turn back? Because for the pilots and therefore for Air India, passenger safety was paramount. Now, if they didn't turn back and God forbid something happened, then you would blame the airline. So do and you're damned. If you don't, you're damned as well. I mean, it's a ridiculous argument. A, B, you very rightly in your opening remarks talked about Saudi. The British Airways plane had the same turnaround from the Strait of Dover. Look, let me tell you, Arnab, very clearly. The DGCA is the safety regulator. The Tatas or Air India or any organization, whether it's British Airways, whether it's Saudi, no one wants their planes to crash because the paramount safety issue is of passengers. Please let the pilots do their job. I've been seeing on your channel and other channels videos of water leakage. You know what that happens? Why that happens? It happens because of something called condensation. Ask people on your panel who understand aviation, who fly on planes. Half the people don't fly on planes. One of your colleagues on another channel has a fictitious captain who dons a pilot's uniform and extols virtues of aviation, and that idiot has no knowledge of aviation. I mean, he was a pilot by default. No one, least of all the Tatas or Air India or Saudi or British Airways, no one is giving excuses, Arnab. You know, people say air conditioning failed. Air conditioning fails, you know why? When at the ground handling level, the auxiliary power is switched off. Do you know something? 3 weeks ago, I could not disembark from an Emirates flight at JFK because auxiliary power had failed. We were made to wait before we disembarked for 2.5 hours. Do you make a shindig about it? Now what will happen? Let me tell you.
Let me.
If a fly enters an aircraft, someone will upload a video, send it to you, and say, "Oh, see, a fly has entered the aircraft." For God's sake, please don't throw the baby with the bathwater. Someone, you rightly said, "Oh, that we are not getting answers. We are not getting answers." The Air India management, as it should be, is seized with 3 issues right now. Number 1, to make sure that the victims and their families have the caregivers. No, don't look away. Number 2,
so predictable.
They have done what they're supposed to do under DGCA regulations of having repeat checks. Number 3, they're continuing to fly their planes. I mean, some of your colleagues have written about the wonderful, about excellent testimonials that in the last 5-6 days, when you would have imagined that a lot of crew would have been shattered, have done their duty admirably well. Now people slack enough.
1 minute, Sohail. Now,
if you misreport a news, will we hang you? No.
Sohail,
we will say there was a misreportage because he got the wrong input.
Sohail, see, I understand your sentiment, and I do understand that you have done a 10-year course in ground aviation engineering, so you know everything that we do.
No, I was for 6 years on the British Airways board.
The other point is this. See, we need to. No, 1 minute, Sohail. Now,
raised the money and ran an airline, which one of his competitors
that's all right.
shut down.
All
so
right,
he also knows what I'm saying.
All right. I mean, whatever. See, the thing is this. See, there has to be an aspect of responsibility out here. Okay.
Of course.
1 minute. Let me complete. Now, why are you being my conjunctive? Please let me complete my sentence.
Of course.
Yeah, that's whatever. But let me complete what I'm saying, Sohail. Now, my question is, 1 minute, Sohail. One minute, Sohail. I'll tell you this. In the media also, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I am not part of a PR campaign for Air India or Tata's. I never will be. But I will ask a question here, and I've reported all the cases. I've reported the British Airways case. I've reported the Saudi case, and it is obvious to me that these are all serious cases. Now we have to acknowledge either there is a problem. By the way, you should see the Netflix documentary on Boeing. There could be a problem with Boeing. 1 minute.
I thought you were.
1 minute. So let me complete, yeah. 1 minute. Let me tell you this. Either there is a problem with Boeing, or there is a problem with Air India, or there is a problem with Boeing and Air India and some other airlines. I am not looking at anything in isolation. But I also know that commercially, if an airline has to change 60% of its fleet overnight because of technical issues with any of their principal suppliers, the airline will go down. I give the most recent example right, of your friend Nusli Wadia and Jay Wadia's airline, which okay, he may not be your friend, but Jay Wadia's airline, which went down because of the problem with the Witt and Pratney engines. Now the problem is, please, no, let me complete now. See, here it is a very powerful force. Powerful companies run airlines and powerful companies make planes. We have a problem. And the problem is of trust today. And if I open the lines, Sohail, I would say trust is very important. And why were Tatas given Air India? Principally because of trust. Now that trust, if it is broken, then we will ask today, how come within 24 hours? Only one question tonight. Air India, one plane, Delhi to Bangalore, vacated, removed, shifted. Air India, Hong Kong to Delhi plane, problem, right? That means there are repeated problems with Air India, which obviously your Air India is now being extra careful, which is good, they are being extra careful, but it means that there are maintenance issues with the planes. There are maintenance issues with the planes. There are, otherwise don't tell me a Hong Kong plane goes back unless there are severe problems with either hydraulics, engines, electricals, flight controls and fuel systems. And if there are such problems, and you can tell me you should be grateful that the problems are flagged, I'm happy. But I will also ask, why are there these problems? Why? Who would not? Parvez, am I wrong? Because Sohail is trying to say, why are you even asking this question?
Let me tell you, in Hong Kong, the checks and tests are done by the Hong Kong Ground Authority.
Is flying without snags. Every plane has minor issues. At times, some of the issues are minor enough for the pilot to take off the plane without any safety. But at any stage, if the pilot feels that safety is an issue, he has the right to ground the aircraft or turn it around. See, pilot is not going to look after the inconvenience of the passenger. The crew is there to look after that. The pilot's job is safety first. No airline, whether it be Air India, Indigo, Saudi, is going to take chances with the lives of people. Yes, I agree with you that after this crash, people have become more alert. The government has put more systems in place. The government has increased checks for 787, which is a good factor. The government has formed a special committee. These factors are good. Another thing I want to point out to you, Sohail will agree, that Tata's is a giant company. They do not lack any finance. So I am sure they've never cut any costs as far as engineering, maintenance, salaries, or quality of the people they hire. This accident is very, very unfortunate. I don't think at this stage we can hold the pilots or Air India or Boeing or anybody responsible. We should wait for the government report, the DFDR.
See, the thing is, Parvez, 1 minute. Parvez, Sohail, just wait a minute. Parvez, see. All nice statements. I understand your sentiment, and I will tell you what your statements amount to. One, Tatas are a good company. Tatas will not compromise. Yes. There will be an investigation, and 2 years from now, we'll give you a one-line reply, by which time we would have bought time. The corporates must continue to work as corporates, and passengers must learn to be patient. Now, question is, here, Vandana, I'm not even talking only of Air India. I'm saying there is a global panic after the crash, rightly so. I, as a passenger, am happy there's a panic. You see, there is an exact replica plane, 787-8, right? Dreamliner. Takes off from London for Chennai. Let's look at the situation. This is not Air India, it's British Airways. The plane takes off at 12:40 p.m. It takes off 45 minutes later, 35 minutes later. It goes to the coast of the United Kingdom, Vandana. Then something is found. And before it crosses the English Channel into the continent, it takes 3 circles and comes back to Heathrow after 2.5 hours. Now, I obviously know that this is linked to what happened. Now, anyone flying a Dreamliner will say there's a problem. I am asking as a passenger, do I have a right to know what the hell happened? My life could have been put at risk. I need to know, not just I came back to London, but what happened, so that next time I can make a determined decision whether to fly a 787 on British Airways or Air India or to fly a Boeing at all. I don't get to know. I'm just told, I'm really sorry, we'll put you on the next flight. But what just happened to my life? What could have happened? Is it too much to ask? Vandana.
Thank you, Arnab, for having me on your show. It's an honor. And as a soldier's disciplined daughter, I've been waiting for my turn. Well, I won't say that I can be interrupted or not interrupted, but I would like to say that yes, we as passengers have the right to know. And yes, what is happening with the 787-8s and what is happening with the previous Boeing faults that happened, we really have to look seriously into this matter. We as passengers have right to know. The time has come that we need to know what went wrong because our lives are at stake. And at this point in time, when so many lives are lost in this Air India crash, I sitting very much here in the Federation of Aviation Industry would really like to ask Air India this question. Because there has been structuring and restructuring, and I believe too many cooks spoil the broth. I do believe that safety protocols have been ignored. I believe there has been inadequate maintenance. I believe from faulty seat belts to broken seats, what have you. We have had so much of stuff coming out. You're showing it on your videos. And I do believe that it is time the passenger comes to know exactly what is going on, where his life is at stake.
But that point is not told. You see, Vandana, you're right there. But that point is not told. That point is not informed. What we are saying is we want passengers to know. Now, it's not a minor incident. If Sohail had only understood the matter in some detail, he would have not called it a minor incident, Ajay, because the pilot dumped his fuel in panic. And there was another incident.
I did not use the phrase
minor
incident at all.
Okay, so it was a major incident then, Sohail.
It wasn't a minor.
You acknowledge it was a major incident. Now, there was another incident, Sohail, from Zurich to Delhi. Another plane, it's also an Air India plane. So, when we are saying Hong Kong, Zurich, Bangalore, Air India, Dreamliner, Delhi, Bangalore, Air India, and in addition, another Dreamliner, British Airways, takes 2 rounds and goes back. What is Republic saying, Ajay? Republic is saying the passenger has to know. The passenger must be told on disembarkation. This was what was happening with your life. Because I do believe, Parvez and Sohail, because I do believe that when there are major corporates and lots of money, the passenger as an individual gets crushed. We're saying to the passengers to start a movement to take on the airlines and demand answers with immediacy. Otherwise, what happens is like what happened with Boeing. They bought off the prosecution in the United States of America. Can the others be on air? They bought off the prosecution in the United States of America and said, okay, we tried to buy off the prosecution. There was a crash. Here's $1 billion. Can we move on?
I'm worried for your health.
I am worried equally for your health and for your equilibrium tonight, Sohail.
And I don't want you to, get
I'm not going to have an apocalyptic attack, but the fact is this aviation industry might. The fact is, Sohail, we're not used to it. Listen to me. Sohail, this aviation industry is not used to being asked questions. This industry, Ajay Bagga, we all know this. This industry is not used to being asked questions, and it is being asked questions by a lot of people very loudly. It is, Sohail, you're an air flyer. Let me tell you, if you'd been in a plane, which would have been in this ICAS situation, if you had been in an Air India plane in which there had been an engine and hydraulic failure, you wouldn't be so relaxed. You would not be, Sohail.
One minute.
You see,
you are saying that when the British Airways flight turned around, why were the passengers immediately not told? Should we not have an investigation?
1 minute, Sohail.
Should we
Sohail.
not? Sohail. Everyone is not.
Don't assume, Sohail. Listen, Sohail, 1 minute. I am saying, don't assume what I think passengers need to be told. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
You're not
is,
wanting to create a revolution.
allow me to complete, Sohail. There are others also. What I'm saying tonight is very elementary and very serious. In the last 24 hours, open source double authenticated information gives us a list of 6 incidents. 4 are regarding Air India and 2 are non-Air India. Out of these 6, 4 are fairly serious matters which cannot be swept under the carpet. And in the past, we've been in situations, let me tell you, I've been on a plane which almost landed in Delhi airport, right? Huge winds, about 10 meters before touching down, goes up again, circles back. 1 minute. Now I'm not in the mood to say bravo to the pilot. I'm saying what's going on. I also would like to ask, since you're asking tonight, there was a hailstorm. Now listen to me. Now I'll go to a very serious situation. Indigo A231neo, okay? Severe turbulence at 36,000 feet near Pathankot. Delhi to Srinagar. The Lahore Air Traffic Control refused this plane to enter its airspace to avoid the weather. The crew knew about the weather. There were satellite pictures, there was severe icing, there was hail warning, there was a NOTAM from Pakistan, post-Operation Sindoor. It was a hellish weather. My question is, why did the plane take off? Why did the plane take off? Were there commercial considerations that you are willing to risk? You're willing to risk even bad weather and terrible weather in order to make the plane.
The only airline that will fly will be Republic Air. If this is your logic.
I mean, don't be ridiculous. Don't make a joke of this. Don't make a joke of this, Sohail. Okay, let's get the other side. Let Ajay come. Yeah, most people fly. Most people risk it. People can risk their lives. There will be an occasional crash. Can Republic run an airline? It can't. So just shut up. That's what you're saying. Sohail is saying if Republic doesn't know how to run an airline, Republic should shut up. Why should Republic? Can all the people sitting on the program, should we run an airline?
Crosswinds?
No, what you're saying, Sohail.
A Concorde flight was landing in JFK. And there were crosswinds.
Now let others come in, Sohail.
7 meters
let others
above
come in,
runway.
Sohail.
It happens in
Let others come in, Sohail. I've also got to open the lines. Ajay Bagga. Ajay.
Yeah, Arnab. No, I've heard the entire discussion. I would say, one, the service levels have really gone down. Sohail and my, common friends were on an Air India business class to Paris. Just before boarding, they are made to sign a form that your entertainment buttons are not working. They said, okay, fine. Now what can we do? They said, unless you sign this form, consent form, you can't board. It's extortion. When they get in, for 8 hours, the seat did not recline. The seat was not reclining in business class. And in business class, the passenger behind them, there was no tray. The tray was broken. They gave a pillow to the passenger on which he kept his food tray. These are common friends of Sohail and mine. It happened just about a month back. Coming back, the same flight is 12 hours delayed without any rhyme or reason. And these are important people. They have meetings to attend. They took another flight, no refund. 2 months they have been fighting. Now I'm filing a consumer case against Air India on their behalf. That is the reality, Arnab. And it happens to all of us. Yesterday I took 2 flights. Every flight you see such poor service, such poor food. That is all okay. So long as you get away with your life, you're okay.
No, the thing is that as long as you get away, but you know, this, I'm sorry to interrupt you. This engine fuel bypass issue, which was reported Air India today, I don't want to be alarmist about it. But the fact is, Parvez, Jay, that Air France flight 447, right? The cause of the crash in 2009, right, was pilot tube icing, loss of airspeed data, ECAM alerts. ECAM is used by Airbus 330. It's similar to ICAS. United Airlines flight, okay? 1989, McDonnell Douglas, early ICAS system, right? Catastrophic failure of engine, ICAS role. So when we say, you know, British Airways flight has happened in the past, no serious damage to the aircraft. The aircraft crash landed short of the Heathrow runway. Again, ICAS. So we can't say that because this particular crash did not, this particular incident reported today did not lead to a crash like day before yesterday or 3 days back. It's not serious. I'm just alarmed at the number of such incidents.
No, it is absolutely, safety cannot be compromised. Aviation safety standards have to go up. The airlines have to buckle up. See, out of the other problem has become is now we have no option. There is, you either travel Indigo or Air India.
That's
there is
terrible.
no third option.
That's also bad.
Now, if an airline wants to buy an aircraft, it's either Boeing or Airbus. There is no further option. So people, consumers are being taken sometimes for granted.
Parvez.
He wants to fly Bombay, Kolhapur.
Parvez. Now also what is irritating for the airlines in today's day of social media. No, in today's day of social, I'll get Jain.
Also should not be broken.
No, I'll get Jain. No.
Entertainment system should not be broken.
Point is.
The consumer has paid what ticket the airline has demanded. So if they paid what they've demanded, the standard should be delivered. There is no question of compromise. The consumer should know.
Parvez.
The problem is airlines are taking consumers for granted.
Parvez. You know, what is Air India saying? What is Air India saying? Air India is saying, we're giving you 1 crore to each family, right? My question is more sincere. Where is the admission of fault? Now you'll say, we'll support the investigation. That's not a favor. That is the bare minimum. Cooperation is legally mandated. What is missing is leadership, accountability, right? There's no immediate audit of Boeing 787s in its fleet. No call for third-party review of Air India's engineering operations. No commitment to ground similar aircraft pending the findings. You can ground the similar aircraft pending the findings. Transparency means going beyond compliance. If that's transparency, in my definition. Jay.
Arnab, good evening, and you know, I must compliment you for asking all the right questions, but let me please frame this for you a little differently. All of the issues that you've highlighted, which are of a technical nature, for instance, these come within the remit of the DGCA. That is the main body created in India, the regulatory mechanism by which...
That's passing the buck, Jay.
I'm coming to the point. Hang on, just give me a moment. I've waited very patiently. Hang on. The DGCA is headed by an IAS officer. It's an expert body. It's a technical body. And, you know, 15 years ago, and this is something very interesting, I was doing my research. It turns out 15 years ago, you had air marshals and people with actual expertise, technical expertise, engineers, pilots running the DGCA. And now, basically, you have a generalist IAS officer who's running the place. So that is one major issue that we need to address. And insofar as the airline, Air India is concerned, I agree wholeheartedly with what Suhail Seth has said. Now, this is, after all, a service provider. The engines, for instance, are run by GE. The engines are maintained in Singapore by an MRO. Now, you have contracts in place for all of this. Now, if you need additional oversight, additional checks, for instance, you need someone like the DGCA with the expertise to do it. So ultimately, the buck stops with the DGCA. And I would say, and I will stick my neck out and say this, it is the DGCA that should be responsible and accountable.
I'll open the lines. Let
me just say one more thing, very quickly, please. You mentioned the London flight, you mentioned the Hong Kong flight, the ones which turned around. These are very important points that you've raised. In fact, everything you've spoken about is extremely critical. But are those pilots then not supposed to, I mean, is Air India not supposed to...
Everyone on, please, I said for that window.
The interests of its flyers exactly at,
I'm sorry, but Jay, listen, Jay, let me explain this to you. This Air India 787-8 Dreamliner AI 315 incident is a very, 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 very serious incident, please.
Yes.
Please, 1 minute. Don't jump at me. 1 minute, please. I will have to have my say on this now. See, don't jump at me and make me public enemy number one, trying to say that can Republic run an airline? You can't run an airline, then shut up.
I'm saying you're asking the right question.
1 minute. Let me. I know I'm asking the right question. I've only asked right questions all my life, but let me take it one step further. Let me take it one step further today, please. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I say to those people tonight who were on that Dreamliner plane from Hong Kong to New Delhi.
Yes.
Right. The plane takes off, and 3 hours and 9 minutes late, right? After being airborne, for 1 hour and 19 minutes, it turns back due to an engine 2 fuel filter bypass ICAS message. Right? Now,
So?
If you were...
Arnab,
1 minute,
God for
I don't have to
pilots.
ask her. So let me complete what I'm saying, Jay and Sohail, please. I'm saying tonight that do we realize what this means? It means that 3 days after the worst crash in aviation history in a long time, another Air India plane of the same make encountered a serious problem.
Causation is not correlation.
Causation? Because the plane came back, we should shut up about it. We should be quiet about it. Let's open the lines tonight, viewers.
We should compliment its pilots for being as proactive as they are.
I love your
and
logic.
for flying those planes back, even though it makes...
Let's open the lines tonight, viewers.
No, Arnab, don't smile.
No, Sohail.
The fact that the pilots turned the airline around, turned the aircraft around, tells you about the goodness, the capability, and the...
I'm sorry, don't run a fairy tale on me, Sohail. I'll tell you this. The goodness, humanity, professionalism, I all understand. I would like to throw this to Vandana and then take it around. The fact of the matter is, was a problem reported? It was. Was the problem serious? It was.
What should you have done?
Absolutely. And the problem is obviously not a problem with the pilots, it's a problem either with the engineering, electrical, hydraulics, fuel control, something technical on the plane.
None of those issues
Now I'm really worried for you.
Now I'm really worried. Anyway, you're older than me. I'm worried for your health, not mine. I'm opening the line. Somesh Singla from Amargarh. Let me take 4-5 callers quickly on this show tonight. Somesh, quickly. Somesh, first caller. We'll take 5 callers back to back. Somesh ji, boliye. Go ahead. Somesh ji?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Are you getting me? Are you getting me, Arnab?
I am getting you. Tell me, sir.
Yeah. Namaste. Arnab, I want to ask 2 important questions from your experts. That very unfortunate made a call. Is it given to ATC only or it is audible to the passengers also? And number 2, have all our experts completely ruled out the possibility of sabotage on the ground maintenance staff, given that distraction of laser beam just few days back, that mishap from Pune to Chennai flight of Indigo?
It will have to be looked at, I guess. Rajat from Bengaluru. Rajat.
Yes, Arnab, firstly, I'm going to say I will never choose Air India hereafter for, obvious reasons of maintenance issues. I have one question. Why is Air India not grounded after multiple failures or of maintenance or any such things?
Air India not grounded or Air India specific planes not grounded?
As a whole airline, why can't Air India be grounded for a few days, at least until the investigation is done?
I want anyone to respond to that.
Air India cannot be grounded. The country has only 2 airlines. We are completely dependent on these 2 airlines.
Completely dependent, can't ground an airline. All right.
The aviation industry will collapse.
Okay, Sohail.
We cannot ground any airline.
Airlines are type rated, as Parvez Damania will bear me out and Madam Vandana will bear me out. Airlines are type rated by aircraft. Now ground the whole fleet. Why don't you shut all the airports?
Exactly.
I mean, Arnab.
I mean, Sohail, are you even aware that Boeing 787 planes have been grounded in the past by FAA? I mean, why do you sound so surprised? Grounding of individual planes pending investigation is a global factor.
This 787 had a battery issue.
You didn't bring up the issue of...
Calm down, not everyone together, please.
787 was grounded.
Yeah.
So there have been groundings, one minute. Then you both agree there have been groundings. There have been groundings done by the Federal Aviation Authority in the United States, right?
787, this is the 8th incident that has happened. The 7th incident, no hull was destruction occurred. This is the first incident where entire hull was destructed. But it would not be in hands of the airline. The DGCA would pass a directive if they felt
you guys are passing the buck to the DGCA, which you say is corrupt. Parvez, listen. Parvez, you decide. You say it's the DGCA's responsibility. In the same breath, the other panelists say the DGCA is corrupt and inefficient. So you want something and a body you call corrupt and inefficient to take the decisions. Okay, next caller.
The DGCA needs to increase the manpower and the DGCA...
That's not going to happen overnight. Anyway, I think the only answer in the interim is for passengers to be extremely active and activist about it. Okay, guys, calm down. Ramesh from Hyderabad. Ramesh.
One point here, please.
Yeah, Vandana, you want to make a point? 1 sec. Ramesh ji, just wait. Vandana.
I want to make a point. Is it not true, and I read it out, that the DGCA gave notice, a show cause notice to Air India on June 3rd and June 5th, highlighting lapses in airworthiness and maintenance of several aircrafts and equipment including
100% correct, Vandana, and this is a report first put out on Republic, for which they found the CEO, Mr. Campbell Wilson, accountable and guilty. In response to which Air India did nothing. A few weeks later, there was a crash. And even after that, Air India has put Mr. Wilson to come out and give 2 videos and do absolutely nothing. They've taken no action on him. Nobody wants to hear this truth.
This is true. I am agreeing with you, but the fact is that it's time this duopoly stopped and we got more healthy competition because we are left with
Arnab
only
has been
Air India and
economical
Indigo.
with the truth on this matter. The 2 notices were given. In that notice, they were asked to respond within 15 days. Arnab only put it out. I'm only quoting Arnab. But because Arnab may have forgotten what he said.
No, but I'm sorry, Sohail, listen. I'm so surprised that you are so ill-informed despite being a former advisory board member of the British Airways. I put it out and I also asked the question that why? No, 1 minute. Tell me, was the Air India CEO held guilty or not by DGCA? After being held guilty, may I ask what anyone in Air India did about its CEO who had been held guilty by a preliminary investigation of the DGCA?
Now can I answer?
If your answer is they did nothing, then you must say they did nothing. And a few days later, a crash happened.
I have listened to you with adroitness. You must allow me to answer.
No, you haven't. But anyway, everyone on.
Found guilty. People were asked to return to respond with.
I am sorry, please read it. The list of the offenders. DGCA held him guilty. They were asked to reply after that. But Air India did nothing. A week later, a crash happened. Of course, in another case,
he's been in the civil aviation ministry.
did anybody stop the Tatas from removing Mr. Wilson within a day? They could have removed him on 6th.
Sanath is the only person who's been in the ministry. Why don't you ask him?
No, why don't you? No. Point is, I've got another caller tonight. I'm going to take one more caller. Sohail, listen. Please understand the passengers have woken up. And they are going to keep troubling the airlines till the airlines are fixed. Is there any doubt on that, Ajay? I think it's going to be a matter. They have to deal with it.
Arnab, can I
yes, Rajiv. Yes, Rajiv.
Yeah. No, my thing is that the most important
everyone
thing
on here. Do you have a problem?
All airlines, whether it is Air India, Indigo, or anyone or any international carrier, they have to pull up their socks as far as the maintenance of the aircraft are concerned.
Callers.
They have to spend money on that. And secondly, most important, use the aircrafts as per the international standards and give proper rest to the aircrafts when they have done with it. Not to overuse them and give them proper maintenance when it comes
Let me tell you
that
one thing, Rajiv. What Sohail is saying, he was with British Airways Advisory Global Board in the past. Had this happened with British Airways, Mr. Campbell would have been given the boot by now.
Definitely.
Okay, Arnab.
He can't deny it.
One thing
even Sohail can't deny it.
Arnab, I made a point in the beginning.
Investigation is called an investigation.
Tatas have money, but they don't have the management skill. They ran Vistara because of Singapore Airlines. And we were expecting Singapore Airlines to come back because they have a share in the new Air India.
Okay, we have to close.
They have not come back really. So that's another problem which I think they don't have management
you will
skills.
ask which engineer to appoint, which person to appoint, which person to choose. Let's, as you rightly said, this is an aviation issue. It must get the seriousness it deserves. All stakeholders should be involved in if there is a need for course correction.
The passengers are the biggest stakeholders, in case you've forgotten, Sohail. The passengers are the biggest stakeholders, Sohail.
And passenger well-being is the most important. Everyone understands.
Okay, this has been an interesting discussion. I'll open this up. I'll only say let the passengers win, let the passengers win, let passengers be paramount. On the other side tonight, are we looking at a grim possibility of a nuclear war with threats being put out so loosely between Israel and Iran? Big story when I'm back.
Time for a quick breather.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला। सिप जीरा सिप MDH का